Finally getting around to Rakdos Cecil. It's fun, like a little under the radar, but the Cecil decks have been performing really well. Every single version we've played has been solid so far. We've played kind of like 2.5 builds. So we've played 2 different versions of Cecil Shadow. We've done like solid with them both times, positive win rates. One built around Urza Saga Hex Parasite, one no Urza Saga. I've been working on an updated build, and I'm getting like a little stuck on some choices there. So keep an eye out for an update there. We also played Necro Cecil. Necro Cecil was really good. We had a good stream with that one. But we've also had a lot of requests for this. So this is a Rakdos. I tend to like to call decks that are playing cheap, aggressive creatures backed up by discard spells and removal spells, rock decks. Basically, black-based mid-range strategies using discard spells. So, like, this deck is not as fast as something like Prowess is going to be. It's not as fast as, I guess, I'm just trying to think of, like, it is as fast as Boros Synergy, maybe even faster. But, like, it's not as fast as an all-in aggro deck, so you need that discard and removal spells to slow down your opponent. And I think Cecil fits really well in here. It gives you a density of really high quality 1-mana creatures, and there's like an easy overlap too with you really wanting to play Street Wraith with Cecil so that you can flip this card on turn 2, and then you want to play Street Wraith with Detective Phoenix to fly your Ragavan, fly your Nethergoyf. And flying Cecil also does seem pretty dang good. You can have a 6/6 flying lifelinker. You could also, if you Phoenix your Cecil, you can strategically lose more life so that your Cecil flips potentially faster, although it's not that tough to flip Cecil in general here. And one thing that's really interesting is we actually had a lot of success against Boros with a lot of these Nethergoyf Graveyard Trespasser shells. We're not playing all of the elements that usually makes those matchups pretty solid, but I'm trying to maintain as many of those elements as possible while also like still being very fast and very aggressive. So Cecil, it hasn't been like the most like in your face Final Fantasy card, but it has been like maybe the best performing. But yeah, it would be nice. There are several cards that could easily come off the modern ban list, and we've been talking about this, and it's like, do you mess with a good format? Modern is currently a good format. Wait, what is this? Oh, this is the light. Okay, Modern is currently a good format. It's not as good as it could be. You could unban several cards and improve the format. I think you could ban like 3 or 4 cards and improve the format too. It's kind of subjective. I think a lot of people have different ideas on the directions they want to go with the format, and this kind of like difference of opinion, this sort of like. Okay, so let's wait on the Wraiths. Yeah, not a lot of reason to play them because we're going to play the Ragavan turn 1 always. There's a lot of differences of opinions on how like people would like Modern as a format to be managed, and so for the most part, it does seem like maintaining a good format is not a bad direction to go at the very least. All right, let's not get Chaliced here, please. Okay, we did not get Chalice. We got Wastegate Battlemaged. Nethergoyf is going to be at least a 3/4. Let's go ahead and cycle these Wraiths. Nice. Okay, so I could haste the Cecil and transform it this turn. That's kind of what we came here to do. That being said, the Cecil just by itself lines up really dang good against this Wastegate Battlemage. So I think I'm gonna instead, and this also lets me just play every single card in my hand. We're gonna fly the Ragavan, which is quite a potent threat, and then we're probably gonna end up playing both of these. I don't think it's super likely I'm gonna hit something off the Ragavan that's better to play, but we'll keep an open mind. Maybe a Rumble? Maybe I'll play a Rumble. Not a Chalice. Scary that they have the card. We have some Meltdowns in the sideboard. Alright, 2 2/3s against the... They spend 1 mana for 2/2. We spend 1 mana for 2 3s. Good matchup. Simon with the 66 months. Welcome back. Ganon with the 22. Truth with 45. This looks fun. My version has NT over FOMO because he vote FOMO better. Yeah, I think FOMO is better. Like, obviously, NT is good with Wraith. But, like, it always feels like you're a little light on enablers for NT in this deck. We have played it in the past. All right, so let's see if we like our top card here. I mean, I like the card Basic Mountain. I don't think I want to draw it right now. All right, so we get to grow the Goyf. I think that that's going to be a little bit more important than drawing this next turn. This way, the I mean, it's not that complicated. We just get more damage in. See if they have a K command. Yeah, so everyone, everyone has a little bit of an unhinged desire for unbans. I really want Death Thread Shaman unbanned. If you have a card that you really, really desperately want unbanned, type it in the chat now. All right, Ragavan is surgically extracting all of the chalices, I guess. Type your ban wish in the chat. We'll be selecting one card to unban. Wait, they have K command and they didn't exile anything. They didn't exile a creature. What does this mean? They're making a spawn token. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what their hand could be that a spawn token would be better than exiling a Ragavan or a Goyf or a Cecil, but let's find out. They do find an Eldrazi Temple. This gives them 6 mana, not 7. 7 is really the scary number. That's the All Is Dust Devour of Destiny Ugin number. I guess this wouldn't be Ugin. The truth comes out. Eldrazi Linebreaker. Why do you want Death Thread Shaman unbanned? One, Death Thread Shaman is not the most powerful one-drop in the format anymore. Death Thread Shaman is powerful. It is more versatile than Ocelot Pride, Ragavan, Guide of Souls, Tamiyo. I think okay, that's why they scratched. It's more versatile than the cards I just listed. It is less powerful. So you can have a debate about versatility, power level. There are many cards that keep mana dorks in check. I also think that it improves gameplay in a really, really big way, where gameplay moves back towards like cheap creatures removal, interactive gameplay. Black and green fair decks desperately need buffs. Mana dork strategies, I think, need buffs. I really, really enjoyed the Ketchamo deck being tier 1 while it was tier 1. I would love for it to be tier 1 again. I think it would just be like such a healthy unban. I think it would lead to a big improvement in gameplay. Yeah, let's cast a Linebreaker. Oh, right, we can't. Friday has the colorless and the cost. Let me see if I can surveil another threat to the top. I might play the Cecil. So anyway, that's my thoughts on Death Thread Shaman. Okay, so now we'll keep this in the yard so we can go Cecil, Phoenix, attack with this Phoenix and kill through All His Dust. Realistically, Death Thread Shaman is probably fine. The ideal skill scares me. Yeah. I think it was. I think I started to be on the Death Thread Shaman unban train after talking to Dingo. Dingo really put forth a good argument for me. Okay, so we want the Meltdowns, the Dreams of Steel and Oil, the Charmaws. I want to cut the Phoenixes. I want to cut the Tarfires. Let's keep all the heats in against the aggro build. Maybe I want to play a Sudden Edict. Maybe not. Bans are at 11. There's never a set time for bans. There are several cards that are considered weaker than looting on the list. Yeah, that's another thing too. Is the previous unbannings of Mox Opal and looting. These are two cards I view like way more dangerous than Death Thread Shaman. Like it's way harder to counter Opal and looting than it is to counter Death Thread Shaman effectively. And these cards have been like really fine, much easier to counter than I expected. Very weak to sideboard cards, inconsistent, fragile, weaker than a lot of the MH3 stuff. And I've really enjoyed the dynamic post-bans to some extent of like there being more of a classic, modern, powerful cards versus newer stuff. I think that dynamic has been really positive. And so I don't really think there's another unban besides Shaman that would help expand that dynamic better. Okay, let's keep this. I'm going to put back the theater here. Doesn't always just kill Phoenix Bestowed? Oh, right, it does put it in the yard, doesn't it? For some reason, I'm just kind of thinking, like, Supreme Verdict, you would usually keep Phoenix, but you're right, All His Dust would kill the Phoenix. So let's see if they have that turn 1 Chalice of the Void. We've got a couple outs to it if they do. Looks like they do have it this time. That's obviously a good draw. Good morning, Spike. Can you DM me what the bans are going to be interested in insider trading. Yeah, I'll get back to you. There was I got a DM from someone one time, and they were like, Spike, we would like to pay you for the information about the cards you're brewing about before you stream with them. And I was like, well, I'm not interested in I'm not interested in market manipulation, and I'm not interested in shilling cards for your profit. And like, no, that's not what we're trying to do. But I don't really know how to interpret what they were trying to do any other way. All right, so they battle mage my FOMO. Chomp. Eat the brainstems. Great username. Thank you for the Twitch Prime. So they got 2 cards in their hand. They're playing an Ugin's Labyrinth here. They don't imprint anything. Then they cast a Glaring Fleshraker. Okay, so that reduces the clock by 1 because that's going to be 6 then 8 then 8, as opposed to 18 from 3-6 attacks in a row. Escaping Goyf has 1 mana value. Yeah. If you can't escape Goyf into the chalice. Ooh, a second Fleshraker. So they only have 1 card in their hand, so it's not like they're gonna pop off with this too much, maybe. But they're gonna hit me for 9 down to, or sorry, for 4 down to 9, and then they have attacking for 6. Doesn't seem like I'm wanting to cycle this to bestow the Phoenix. I think I'm just gonna cast it. But I can also just attack for 6, and I can leave a Phoenix back to block, and if the 2 damage from blocking with the Phoenix saves me, that's great because it saves me. And if I still have that 2 life afterwards, I can cycle the Street Wraith and I can bestow the Phoenix for lethal. Nick with the 32 months, welcome back. And Acidic with 1,000 bits. Considers a down payment for sending me the cards you're going to brewing with advance. This is a legal contract, by the way. When are we going to pump into up so much that Coffeezilla will make a documentary? Yeah. I've always wondered why the Seance guy has never reached out to me. Where is he? We need him more than ever. All right, so yeah, this is going to be lethal. I guess I don't think leaving this back to block was a good plan, but we were against any colorless spell there. All right, we're weak to Chalice. We ran into Chalice, tried 1. We get to be on the play for game 3. That's a pretty big deal. We have 6 discard spells plus 2 meltdowns that get it. Let's get in there. Bestow works with Chalice. Bestowing Phoenix does because it doesn't have mana value 1. Bestowing Nethergoyf doesn't because it does have mana value 1. Why so many people want Uro and Eldrazi? I don't know that Uro would see play in Eldrazi. So one thing I hate about unbanning Uro is that if you do unban Uro, Uro is immediately the de facto best card draw spell in the format. And one thing that I think is really positive about Modern that I would love to maintain is that there are like a dozen different card advantage engines that you can choose from, and none of them are like clearly just much better than everything else, and you want to like splash for it. The last BNR, they said last time that there's not going to be any changes to Modern unless they need to make changes. So I don't expect anything to happen today. We're just kind of like wish listing a little bit. I expect a lot to happen in Standard. I'm kind of interested in playing Standard depending on what the BNRs are. We'll see. 3 mana, draw a card, gain 3 life is okay. Okay, well, that's if you want to print that card, that's fine. That's not the text on Uro. Imagine also Uro with Consigned to Memory. You get to go maybe turn 1, Utopia Sprawl. Turn 2, Uro, put a land into play. Consigned to Memory your Uro trigger. You have an Uro in play. Is that 3 mana, gain 3 life, draw a card, put a land in play? Consider Malevolent Rumble, milling over an Uro and letting you escape on turn 4 without ever having cast it the first time. Consider, if you will, Fanatic of Ronus, which is obviously less important, but you can go Fanatic turn 2, Uro turn 3, have 5 mana on turn 3. You know, there's just a lot going on with Uro. You want to Bauble first, look at their top card to get more information on this Surveil. Let's go ahead and graveyard this since we're going to cast the Goyf this turn. We don't need too much mana. That is kind of a good card to know about. Although I guess I'm getting rid of it with Ragavan. Mountain Splash with a 32. Welcome back. So it's just, you know, Uro I think has a lot of new powerful cards that would make it even stronger than it was when it was legal. For whatever that's worth. Okay, so we're going to draw a card off the bauble, get another card for turn. We would love to find a creature or a sorcery, or, I mean, I guess this is an enchantment and a creature, so that we can Delirium hasty attack with FOMO next turn. Winter Night with the 25 months. Thank you, welcome back. Not listening, I'm Ben Uro, make 4 color Omnith great again. Well, we've been doing well with the Karuga build. I know we didn't have a great showcase with it, but we did top 8 that, or top 4 that, that challenge with it. All right, I guess we discard the Meltdown now. All right, so we'll play this so that if they exile one thing from my yard, I could still get Delirium in response to the Surveil land, potentially. And then if that doesn't happen, we'll probably just play a second FOMO. They do have the K commands. The turn 1 Herald and the turn 2 K commands. A good curve. The clear best draw engine is Imri Bauble. Is it? Joby with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. I just feel like none of the Imri Bauble decks just can seem to break their way into tier 1, but they are fine. Okay, so I guess I need to decide... Do I want to try to Surveil for Delirium, or do I want to cast the second FOMO? I think Delirium seems so insane. And if I get Delirium, I can still cast the second FOMO. Nice, we got it. Yeah, so let's untap the Ragavan so that we can cast the FOMO here. Not too bad through my opponent going turn 1 Herald, turn 2 K command, exile a Nethergoyf. Sprawn, 32 months, think you'll come back. What's tier 1 in Modern? So it's like Boros Synergy. I think I'm putting Domain Zoo in there. There's I don't know if I would put like much beyond Boros Synergy and like Domain Zoo as like actual best decks in the format, but like it's like there's almost like a tier 1.5 right now where it's like Boros Synergy, Domain Zoo I think are just like the for me like the 2 decks that are just like very popular and very good. And then there's decks like Titan, which is very good but not very popular. Eldrazi is like kind of down a few pegs, or it has been, but it's starting to seem like maybe it's coming back up. Like I don't know how you rank like Brood Scale in this. It's very tough to define the tiers right now. So usually like for my like I think Titan is very good. I think it is like the best deck in the format right now. But because it is seen by a lot of players as very hard to play and not very fun to play, it just usually doesn't. Wait, they didn't cast the. Oh, they're holding up K command. It doesn't see a lot of play, and it's kind of always been like that. Like usually for me, the tier 1 decks are based on popularity. They're not based on. Maybe tier 4 is decks nobody plays that are okay, and tier 5 is decks nobody plays that are bad. So I think Dice Factory is okay. I like the Ugin build this top 8 at tournaments, but it's been a little bit. What are my picks for bans besides Monstrous Rage for Standard? Well, I'll say, you know, as someone who hasn't been following Standard super closely, I don't think my opinion holds that much weight on this issue. That being said, like, I was kind of under the impression that the ban needed to be Corey Steelcutter, or like the main ban should be Corey Steelcutter. Maybe I'm off about that, but for me, like Steelcutter seems like the card that people are complaining about the most. It seems like the card that is just it's just one of these cards where like, did your opponent draw 2 Corey Steelcutters? Their win percentage goes up 20%. You know, I just always hate cards like this that are just like, oh, you drew 2, your win percentage is much higher than it would be if you had drawn 1. People want both. Yeah, I mean that is valid, but. I think that for me that's the main thing I would like to see go. All right. I think we want to be mana efficient and play a FOMO, even if no. Let's play around Snare. Let's play Cecil and Goyf. It's also just so hard for them to have double push. You know, sometimes they have double push, but their fatal pushes are just so taxed. No, it's Monstrous Mage. Ronald Red is running the show right now. Yeah, and so this is what people say. Monstrous Rage needs to be banned. I did play a good amount of Standard before the big unbans happened in Modern. I know that Mono Red is good. I know it was good then. I just feel like I enjoyed having Monstrous Rage be illegal, and I didn't play much Mono Red. I enjoyed playing against that card. I felt like it was like pretty easy to play around. You die to it sometimes. I thought it was cool. A pump spell was like popular, but that was just kind of my somewhat surface level impressions after a couple months playing Standard. So I don't know. To me, it feels so weird, but it's okay, I think. You aren't playing around fish at all here. Fish. Like, gift a tapped fish? Surely that's not the card you mean. All right, so let's go ahead and cast FOMO. If it gets countered, then this grows. Or are you saying like the poker fish? So you're saying that my opponents who are playing Monstrous Rage were bad, and that's why I had this impression? I mean, that might be the case. Like, is it better to ban Monstrous Rage, or is it better to ban like one of the mice that's like that one mana mouse is so crazy? I don't know. They mean Blue Moon. You got to say that, you know. Yeah, I think I'm not expecting them to main deck Harbinger of the Seas if they are good for them, but I think it's super uncommon in Orzhov or Dimir right now, right? I think the one mana mouse is okay. It's Manifold Mouse. Well, the Manifold Mouse is much worse if the one mana mouse is gone. But I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's a fun conversation to have because I'm not someone who has played a ton of Standard. I played some. I've played some over the last like few months, but this has just not been my like area of expertise. So it's cool to hear people who actually play the format chime in. All right, well we're cruising here today with Rakdos. I tend to always do well with Rakdos. All right, so we're going to bring in the Sudden Edicts and I think the third Trespasser. Hard to play the fourth because of our mana curve. You want Ragavans to go if you think they're on Bowmaster, and you want to keep them in if they're not. We don't really know. I think we want to cut the Tarfires. I think we want to keep in all the Thoughtseizes. We're on the draw. We can trim one Ragavan and then maybe reassess for the play. I think red deck needs 2 bans and Abuelos needs to go. Yeah, a lot of people have said that. I feel like these kind of like preemptive bans where like this is the problem with scheduled BNRs or these kind of comments too, where it's like you're like, well, we have scheduled BNRs. I really, really do not want a miserable format, so we might as well ban this card that is currently not a problem but might become a problem. I think we put back a Bauble. We're on the draw. We got a good, very high chance to see that second land. It's really nice that if we see the land on top, we get to just Street Wraith away. Although if I knew I was drawing Phoenix, I obviously would have put back a Phoenix. Yes, we just get to see there's no land on top. Shuffle it away. Draw here. And I think I want to play Cecil first. I can flip Cecil next turn, which is nice. But also, this attacks through a frog. Sternly Scolded, though. So Nethergoyf would have played around Scolding. Kind of difficult to play around, I guess. Can we not have scheduled BNR? I would love no scheduled BNR. I've been advocating for no scheduled BNR for like 2 years now. Maybe less than that. I've been like very seriously advocating for it. It seems like there is some WotC executive who's like, we made a commitment to do these scheduled BNRs and we're going to stick to it. So, unfortunately seems very out of our hands. All right, so I think I want to play DRC. Really want to find Delirium here. We're going to still have 3 types in our yard. Oh, so I guess maybe if I was looking for Delirium, doing the second main phase was probably better because I guess I did have an okay attack. We're just making them like discard 2 cards to not draw a card, and I get to keep Phoenix back, and I can block with Phoenix. All that seems kind of okay to me. So I'll probably take the Goyf, which does not give me Delirium. Because it's a combat chip, you think you could play around rage, but the tools don't exist. Well, I was playing a lot of like cut down and go for the throat decks. So I don't know if like that's just not something that's good against these red decks anymore. But like I felt like kind of like I could just play blocker and I could hold up cut down. I don't know. But again, like I do agree I had a very surface level like standard impressions. I'm by no means an expert. I appreciate the arguments. Okay, they discard an unearth, so they probably don't have a creature in their hand. You would think, but it's not there. Yeah, maybe. Again, so like I genuinely, sincerely appreciate these points being made. Rage counters cut down. Well, you wait for them to play the rage, right? Because like you make a block and then they have to do the rage. Like a second rage does get you a lot of the time, right? So do I attack for 4 here? Feels like I'm losing the game if I attack with both my Phoenixes. It feels like I'm losing the game if I block with both my Phoenixes also. So let's attack. Yeah, that's true. Corey Steel Cut. That's a great point that Corey Steel Cutter makes removal just like... But if you ban Corey Steel Cutter, do you need to ban Monstrous Rage then? So points down to 7. I'm at 10. They could put me on a 2-turn clock here. Huh. Let's go to game 3. I do feel like Bowmasters has been more common. I do feel like Unearth Oculus makes me think a little less likely they're on a bunch of Bowmaster. Let's bring in the second Ragavan. Is there anything? Although I'm not sure what we're cutting. Maybe 4th Cecil. I do think Cecil's good. Like Death Touch has been really nice. Nice. So we probably want to go Cecil into Thoughtseize Goyf. Put us on a mold of 6. August 1 Showcase. Oh, I missed that. Wasn't playing Bowmaster. All right, so let's cycle the Wraith first. We could draw a Bauble, and then we would know if we wanted to play our Mire or our Crypt. All right, so they have a Fatal Push. They also have an Engineered Explosives and a Snare. Their hand is very good against mine. Oh, sorry, I meant to play the Cecil turn 1. What am I doing? Well, I guess I'm taking the Explosives, is what I'm doing. All right, so we don't want to run into the Snare. What's my reasoning for playing Heat over Push or a Split? I think that Heat is better than Push. It's enough better than Put. This is a Delirium deck. This is a deck that's getting Delirium is pretty easy. This misses very few things in the format. It misses even less things that Fatal Push hits. It can kill Scion of Draco if they don't have Leyline. It can kill Flage. It can kill Primeval Titan. It just does seem to me that it deals with the stuff you needed to deal with. All right, so I don't want to play the FOMO into the Snare. I also kind of like the idea of keeping the Heat, although I don't have Delirium right now. Seems fine. Yeah, also it's Planeswalkers, so you could maybe let me know why you think you might want. Also, if they Edict here, then I'll play the FOMO discarding the Heat, I think. Because that gives me Delirium, and then I could maybe FOMO the Ragavan next turn. Alright, so we now know Watery Grave. Oh, sorry. I always keep Marsh Flats. It's Watery Grave, not Marsh Flats in their hand. No! I guess this isn't so bad against my hand. It just stops the FOMO from Deliriuming. Push can kill Flage. Well, the thing is, it's it can kill Flage if you have a Bauble or a Fetch Land or something dies. Heat is just way more likely to be able to kill the Flage. It's just easier to have Delirium than it is to have Revolt, is at least my theory. Maybe that's not true in practice. So... and a Snare, 2 mystery cards. Psychic, I guess Psychic Frog would just get snared. They cling to dust their Nile Spellbomb. So snare 3 mystery cards. 1 away from casting an Oculus. They do have a Frog, though. So I discard 2. I have no graveyard since I've been Nile Spellbombed. Do I attack with just Cecil, play Ragavan, play Phoenix? Do I attack and let them discard 2 cards to kill FOMO? I think let's leave the FOMO in play for now. Okay, they don't know Cecil has Death Touch, so that was a freebie. They just have a Spell Snare in their hand. All right, that was a freebie. 2-0. Let's freaking go. I only put it in Go because we don't have Death Threat. I want to play Blood Moon turn 2 more often. Yeah, this is another thing. Is like, do you feel Blood Moon is well positioned? I haven't really been feeling that way. Like, you could sideboard them. Our hierarchs for Modern 2 weak, I quite like them. I mean, they kind of suck. Like, just one toughness creatures in general are weak to a lot of stuff. I haven't played a ton of them, but I have played them some recently, and I have not done well with them. But maybe that's a skill issue. I don't know. So I put it revealed Kihira, by the way. It's like, you know, you're just mana dorks in general are usually not very good, especially in decks that like curve out at 3. It's like you could go shitty 1-drop into powerful 3-drop if your 1-drop lives, or you could play something like a Dragon Rage's Channeler or a Nethergoyf or a Cecil or a Ragavan. Then you could play a really powerful 2-drop like a Orcish Bowmaster or a Ridden 6 or whatever. And then you could play your powerful 3-drop. And then your top decks are better because you don't have mana dorks in your deck. I'm doing well, Lucas. Had a nice, refreshing weekend. How are you doing? So they get a Hallowed Fountain. Untapped, so Prismatic Ending or Spell Snare, probably. It looks like it's Prismatic Ending. Goodbye, Cecil. 4 cards in their hand over there. Huh. I never thought I'd discard a FOMO, but just getting Delirium and being able to kill like a plus Teferi, which I guess they're not that likely to plus it, but just and getting Delirium for my other 2 FOMOs just seems like the move here. We like Saga on 2 counters, right? Blood Moon on turn 2 stops that. When you say we like it, it has not. We have played it, and it hasn't seemed good, really. It seemed like whatever. That has not been a plan that has been performing particularly well so far. It's like when we've played it, it's like, oh, Blood Moon sure isn't a card I want in my main deck. has been my impression playing Blood Moon Saga. I just feel like, oh, I wish these Blood Moons were in the sideboard, and then sometimes we sideboard them or sideboard Harbinger, and that feels fine. Okay, we may be getting Wrath Disguised. So I feel like the Saga Blood Moon stuff just is kind of untested because we haven't experienced a format where main deck Blood Moon is really well positioned. And it doesn't necessarily seem like we will experience that anytime soon. Who knows? All right, 4 cards in their hand. This Gaia Reach means they can't Wrath Disguise and Counterspell, which is nice. And they don't even have the Wrath Disguise. They Prismatic Ending my FOMO. I want to see if I can draw Arena of Glory, so I'm just going to go ahead and cycle this Cling to Dust real quick. All right, then we'll cast this Thoughtseize. 2 Orm's Chance, and it's a Fairy Hero of Dominaria walk into a bar. I do have the Heat, but like the fact that they have the second enchantment is just too awkward, I think. There is no like really rhyme or reason to when the BNR happens. It's like literally when they get back from Applebee's. You know, there's not there's not much more thoughts than it'll be here when when Wizards gets done with their BNR meeting that might be happening today. You don't know. All right, so the hand is Chant Kihira Mystery card. Okay, I guess we probably want to Cling. Teferi's a pretty annoying draw. So I can exile 3, 4 lands, and a Thoughtseize, and I can keep Delirium. So if I can keep Delirium, then I probably want to keep the Channeler. Yeah, I have instant, creature, artifact, enchantment. So I'm going to minus on my FOMO. They're going to kick the Chant, and they're going to untap with 3 new cards in hand. They plus the Teferi. Did you try Yavimaya in the landfall decks to not have? I think we had Yavimaya in one of our builds, and in this mystery Tifa deck, oh wait, they exiled the FOMO? Okay. In this mystery Tifa deck I've been talking about today, I have it in my notes to include one Yavimaya. So days on doing wood shuffle our graveyard away. They reveal another copy of Narset here, which they cannot cast. So the hand is Narset Mystery card. With the mana they have to have like literally Path to Exile to not be dead here. Or like Spell Pierce. Could have Force of Negation too, so I think we main phase this. Or sorry, end of turn this rather. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, no. Oh, Gaia Reach. Okay, great. That doesn't matter. Oh, I think I have Solitude also, but they just concede. Kind of an interesting concession when... How did they know we had lethal? I guess they just... If I'm discarding Phoenix, then they know I have a different lethal play. Okay, so let's bring in the third Trespasser. Don't want the Dreams of Steel and Oil. I think 2 heats is a pretty solid number. I think I want the Vexing Baubles also. Kind of want to play an Ashiok. It's a little weird. We're on the draw too. How long have I been working on this for? Mostly just this weekend. We've been talking about it for a little bit, but I didn't sit down to build it till Saturday, I think. But it's definitely one that like once I started working on it Saturday, I'm like, yeah, this like really fits with what we've learned and what we feel like the metagame looks like. All right, so they kept 7 this time. I almost played 1 Turok. I'm like, we cannot cast this. We've got 3 Arena or 2. Wait, our other deck has 3 Arena of Glory. Sorry, I have 2. All right, do I want a Marsh Flats? I just have so much, like between my draw steps, my FOMO, and my 2 Street Wraiths, I'm just going to draw so many cards. And drawing an actual 1-drop like a Cecil, and we have a lot of 1-drops. Seems pretty good. Could Archon persist and main deck Charmaw as second persist target be interesting? Maybe. There's some stuff to like about Rakdos Reanimator where you have like a weird amount of viable plan Bs that you otherwise might not have. All right, so I think we can cast FOMO this turn, and then we can maybe go Bauble before Phoenix next turn. We also might might get Wrath Disguised. If you you do get the Surveil trigger if you bestow Phoenix and you have a DRC in play. So they don't have double white. They reveal an Orim's Chant. Okay, so let me play Bauble first. If they have Solitude, they have to Solitude now. Okay, so no Solitude. Can we kill our opponent? It seems less than likely, since if I bestow this to Texas Phoenix, I lose Delirium. Just 2 types. So it seems like I want to heat the Narset. Get in for 10. I think if they had Wrath, they would have played it last turn. They also need double white. That could be, they could have Wrath and they might not have double white. Streaming Loom makeover looks good to give a tour, but it's a point. Well, it's a pretty small room. What you can't see are 2 other paintings on that wall that I have shown before. The picture, a signed picture of Dingo and Krista and Benz from the Hunter Burton, a Raichu, and then a caricature of Esther. I can't remember where she got that. And that is the maybe I'll pan the camera around one of these days. But I'm enjoying it, having the room be like more or less pretty empty. Kind of hard to say no to that, I guess. Cutter almost feels like it fits in the deck, maybe over Street Wraith Trespasser. You have to play Street Wraith in your Cecil Detectives Phoenix deck. There's no no chance not to play it. Okay, so if they Orms chant me a second time. Okay, great. 3-0. Let's get a trophy prediction going. It might have been 1 ring. I think it was when the ring was legal. I don't know if we also had Necro. I have thought about it. It is kind of a nightmare to build. We got lands, we got spells. If our Tarfire is good, we like the hand. If it's not, we don't. I think I just keep these hands. Definitely don't mind against Marsh Flats having kept this. Guide of Souls. Don't love drawing Arena. Don't like drawing Marsh Flats. 18 lands in this deck. I guess we get a little bit got by Bowmaster. Yeah, Esther's always really funny when the standing desk is up. She's like about here. Hope we don't draw a 3rd land in a row. They play the Bombardment. Alright, so it's pretty important to hold this up for a Johnny. We'll just hold this and the Cling up so we can cycle it if they don't have Flage, and we can exile Flage if they do have it. There's Arena of Glory. Spyro into Flage is the worst case scenario. And yeah, she heard us.
Hello. Oh, my tippy toes. It's my stream. My forehead stream.
They don't have a Flage, thankfully.
Okay, bye.
Alright, let's keep that on top. Let's cycle the Cling to Dust too. Hopefully I didn't draw a Flage. Yes, I think we wait at least 1 turn on this heat. Their hand right now is just a Thraben Charm. They're also going to get a Surveil. Kind of painful. Yeah, I mean, I really want to surveil. I don't know that I can afford to not hold up the heat, though. Thanks, Imdak. Glad you're still liking the stream. Welcome back. Surveil Flage in the yard. Go to game 2. Alright, we're going to bring in the Trespasser. Going to bring in the Pyroclasm. So the general plan is to cut the Ragavans. And to cut Thoughtseize number 4 is kind of what I was thinking. And so usually I like Fire Magic over Pyroclasm, but with our sorcery speed deck, where post sideboard nothing dies to Pyroclasm except non-delirious channeler, I think, and our land count's kind of low, so I think you want the Pyroclasms instead, for whatever that's worth. And I think you played Dreams of Steel and Oil over Thoughtseize 3. Do you have a countdown timer? No, it's just because we don't know when the BNR is going to happen. It happens when it happens. Yeah, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Some unbans would be nice. I'm expecting to see no changes in Modern, but for what it's worth, what I expect to happen almost never happens. Yeah, so with Bauble and Street Wraith, we could look at our top card to see if we want to draw it. Otherwise, we could just fetch first. Ban Flage, bring back Raptor. So Raptor was really funny where like there's just a big chunk of players who are like, Raptor shouldn't have banned. That card was fine. But Amped Raptor is just... I think it was the best card in the deck. Like... And it's like, if you point to any other card in the deck, it's like, well, Raptor was Raptor plus that card. Like, if you talk about banning a Johnny instead, it's because, like, Raptor is, like, sometimes Raptor plus a Johnny. That wouldn't be the case if a Johnny was gone, but, like, your best turn 2 wasn't a Johnny. Your best turn 2 was a Raptor into a Johnny, or Raptor into Moon, or Raptor into Seasoned Pyromancer, or Raptor into Rain. Like, those are all of your best turn 2s. They were just really high variance and very hard to interact with, too. So it's like I've said this a lot, but like Guide, Pride, Flage, Raptor, and Johnny are all like very similar power level, and it certainly feels like you shouldn't be allowed to play all of these cards together. But as far as the right BNR, it's just so difficult because all these cards are so efficient and so fast. Love to draw a Phoenix this game. Yeah, I don't think that the format needs changes either. I agree I agree right now Modern is probably the best 60 card format. I'll also say that it's like I've been reflecting a lot on philosophy when it comes to format management. Like, is it better to try to proactively manage a format to make it as good as possible, or is it better to just allow a format to be good? And I don't have an answer to this question. Yes, I keep that. Let's say yes to that. I don't have an answer to that question. Especially when so many people have so many different visions for what a format should look like. It's very hard to say definitively what's right. They went big on bans. All right. Modern, no changes. Okay. Holy guacamole. Wait, Counterspell is banned in Historic? What the fuck? Wizards has no idea what they're doing with Standard ever. It's so weird. Alright, so if they don't have Unholy Heat, which they would have heated the FOMO already, I think, I untap the Cecil here. I literally don't know how to react to this. They literally just banned every deck in the format to force a rotation. It's like, we don't have scheduled rotations. Like, we're moving away from scheduled rotations. It's been like a big part of their messaging, right? Or they have less scheduled rotations. And so, but then they just rotate. This is literally the most we are rotating the format ban list I've ever seen. I've never seen a ban list be more. We are rotating Standard. Is that bad? No, I don't know. I don't play a ton of Standard, so I just like. I don't play a ton of standard, so I don't know. Obviously, some people are going to like this, and some people are not going to like this. Yeah, why not go back to the tier rotation? I don't know. I would love to see like Ash's reaction. I'd love to see Doom's reaction. Wait, how do you have Galvanic Discharge? How do you wake up with no blocks Galvanic Discharge here? It's so weird. Okay, so I don't get my extra combat. I get to play a new Cecil. Oh, I guess I do get my extra combat. I can't attack with anything. This is... I mean, is Standard going to be super fun now? Maybe. Ash is super hyped. I'm sure Ash is super hyped. Yeah, I guess we... I mean, maybe this is for the best. It's just, you know, as someone who is like a casual Standard observer, it's very interesting that they're just saying, okay, we are rotating the format. Let's check with the Modern section here. While we previously announced there would be no changes to Modern during this announcement window due to the ongoing Modern RCQ season, we did want to check in on how we're viewing the format. Boris Energy is going to be top god. Subject 6, that was true. I think it is definitely true. Catch your mouse. It's Corey Steelcutter. With new cards showing up, new decks being built, the most popular archetype arc less than 20%. Looks like a great time to play Modern. I think I do agree with this. I think Modern is currently pretty dang good. Okay, so if I bestow Phoenix, I lose Delirium. So let's go ahead and cast this. My opponent went Seasoned Pyromancer, discard 2 copies of Thraben Charm. Could draw a land. I do draw a land. So I still have the option to bestow, and now I also get this Surveil trigger. If I bestow Phoenix onto Cecil and I hit Delirium. Okay, what if I go combat 1, attack with FOMO and DRC, untap the DRC. Then if they block this, I have Delirium on the backswing. Otherwise, they take 3 or 5. Yeah, let's do that. Is Beanstalk banned? Yeah, I'll say that when I was playing a lot of Standard, I really wanted Beans to get banned. It was like so annoying how, like, if the Beans player drew their Beans, your win percentage dropped by like 15-20%, and there was like, oh no! Right, we don't get another main phase. Okay, I guess I just surveil. It might be good to still play one of these, but let's keep that. So yeah, maybe I messed this up. For some reason, I thought I would get another main phase to cast the Phoenix. We win anyway, so we're going to game 3. Mr. Tasty with the 4 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Is Roots the best deck in Standard now? Maybe. Like, the actual answer is that the format is completely different now. And, you know, maybe someone like Ash or Doom, you know, the Standard experts are going to have an idea of what's going to be viable. But it is Standard players got an early rotation. They just nuked all of the top decks. Why Heat over Push? It's better. Your Delirium deck and, like, you know, there's Scion of Draco and Primeval Titan and cards, Murktide Regent sometimes that, like, Push can never hit, and Heat almost always kills the things that Push can get. Should be linked at the top of the page, Renegade. Okay, turn 1 Ragavan. We are on the draw this game. Certainly interested in Tarfiring before I play the Goyf. Let me see what my top card is. A Thoughtseize. Okay, so I think I like the idea of drawing that Thoughtseize. Jorah with the 16 months, welcome back. I have seen the Standard bans. I mean, there is no meta. You got a new Standard rotation, Standard gamers. No meta anymore. Which is fun, you know. It's fun when things like this happen. Like I might play some Standard. I don't know. I might not. Modern is also really good right now, so It's good to have two good 60-card formats. Okay, Voice of Victory. They're drawing into Johnny. Can't Thoughtseize that, I guess. It's a pretty good hand. I think I have to take the Thraben Charm. The problem is... Oh yeah, they can't Galvanic Discharge the Goyf because they're only going to have 5 energy after going Guide Attack. And this will have 6 toughness, so that's nice. So it's just annoying they get so much energy, but it should be fine because we can block the Voice. And then if we trade the Goyf for Voice and Discharge, that's like an okay exchange. Or a good exchange, even. Or are people playing VV? This will show the WotC probably, maybe. Next announcement, November 24th. Okay, so that's almost 6 months? Oh, 5 months. Why is it so long? It's okay. You know, Modern, they are not wrong. Modern is good right now. These scheduled BNRs are just too far apart. They don't need to exist. But Modern's good, and it doesn't, because we have no Horizon sets coming up, it doesn't exactly seem like Modern is about to get super bad anytime soon, so probably okay. Right, so we go FOMO, discard Phoenix to double grow the Goyf into a monstrous 7/8. Then we attack with the Goyf. Clip that just in case. Well, yeah, I mean, something might happen. Things can get worse for sure. But it seems less like it's just way less likely that a format gets ruined when there's not a Horizon set coming. All right, so the hand is Guide of Souls, Galvanic Discharge, Mystery card. They can go Guide of Souls, discharge the FOMO, get in for a good amount. 5 of the bans are commons and uncommons. Crazy. Yeah, there just seem to be like maybe a hole in the testing for commons and uncommons. Like these get developed for limited, and they don't get tested for constructed, possibly. It does seem like maybe there's different teams. All right, so this is what they do. They're going to get 2 life, 2 energy, and they can jump the Voice of Victory also, which is... Oh, no, they had... Wait. Sorry, I thought they had 1 more energy than they did. So them not being able to jump, it's pretty good. All right, let's see if we can surveil something that makes bestowing the Phoenix possible. Looks like the answer to that question is no. Yeah, it doesn't seem super possible. All right, getting for 7. Second Guide of Souls is so annoying here. They are going to be able to double jump. They're going to get 4 life, 4 energy, 7 energy. I get hit for 5 in the air. Can I kill them on the backswing? Maybe. I get to untap my Goyf. They attack with just Guide of Souls. How is this possibly right? I don't know how this is possibly right, but... hard to complain, I guess. Does me being at 6 life super duper matter? So if or when I FOMO my Goyf, they'll block here, and then the next Goyf forces a chump block. The next Goyf attack forces a chump block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could Legend Rule Cecils to bestow a Phoenix post-combat, but then also if I block with a Cecil, I lose 4 life. So like that's not a super good option. If you flip Cecil, it gets the second attack. If you flip Cecil, it gets the second attack. Oh, right, because it untaps. I'm just trying to think of this one, how much this 1 point of life matters. Okay, so right now... assuming I get rid of everything, I lose. I would really have to hit like a Graveyard Trespasser or a Street Wraith. But so I'm basically going to go -2 + 4. So -2 + 4 is 5 to 9. My opponent's going to lose 1 of their creatures, but let's say that they keep a Guide of Souls and a Voice of Victory, and let's say that they draw another creature so that they can jump. So that's going to be 3, 6 + 2 is 8. which means that cracking this fetch land could very well lose me the game, because that puts me down to 8 instead of to 9, right? So 5 to 9. So let's not crack the fetch land. Cool turn. Feeling like Brian Kibler right now. Would you ever trade a fetch land for a Shizo? The fetch lands are really important in your Delirium Cecil deck. Shizo giving Cecil first strike is pretty cool. And Ragavan too, so yeah, maybe. Cecil untaps when it transforms, so we get to attack with it again. Yeah, we get to attack with the Cecil again because it untaps. So they say no block, so now I guess they would have to double chump anyways. No, they didn't block this? I guess they would have been at 4 anyways. So now I hold the Cecil to play around Wrath Disguise, although they can't Wrath Disguise and kill my FOMO unless they have Galvanic Discharge. No, they have to draw White Source Wrath, so I guess that's not a thing, so we do play this. Yeah, I don't think they realized the Cecil on tap, but they also just kind of missed 2 life by locking the 2-3 with their 1-3. Okay, we're 4-0. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll come to me. There was like a decision point that made me say no to Overlord. Seems like every set release you get a few good / great leagues with Black Red Rock. Does it surprise you it happens? No, it usually feels like I could tune this archetype to be good in the metagame. And I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I think like once it became clear that you can build these decks in a way that they're good against Boros, and we don't have all of those elements of this build, but the fact that you can build the Nethergoyf decks to be good against Boros, and that's been like a pretty consistently true thing, has been a big selling point for me. So I'm probably going to want to bestow the Phoenix, which makes this Goyf worse. I think I'm going to graveyard it. Not sure if that's correct. Well, I guess we have to leave them with the best card in the format. By taking the actual best card, I guess. Yeah, so I can actually just bestow Phoenix and keep Delirium if I heat. They play the Temple, which implies that they top decked a second K command in what some chatters might describe as a Thoughtseize bug. We definitely need to Thoughtseize this turn, because if I'm wrong about that and they have stock, if we still want to do this. And so we can graveyard this, so we can bestow Phoenix and keep Delirium potentially. Instead they drew Null Drifter and then they didn't cast it. Well, who knows what the hell that's about. I'm going to bestow the Phoenix. All right. So, our reward for a tough match against Boros is maybe an easy match against Mono Blue Tron. It does seem like this matchup is good. I think I want to play around Chalices in the sideboard. Does this get Planeswalkers, Artifacts, Creatures? When I built Mono Blue Tron, I had a lot of pitch cards. I don't know that we can count on them to have those. No, I don't think Ashiok's good against Mono Blue Tron. Like 3 mana, stop an Expedition Map on the draw is not a good idea, I think. Let's mulligan this No Threats. Just can't keep No Threats. Alright, keep this one, put back a land. If only I had Ashiok to stop this. So with them having Expedition Map, I think we want to play the DRC so we can get Surveil value potentially. I would love for my opponent to play Chalice of the Void this turn. That would be so nice. We get to Meltdown. We may get Troned. What can you do? Draw a Charmaw, I guess. Arena of Glory is not the worst. I think I'm going to Graveyard it, dig for Charmaw. Well, that was easy. So if I play my FOMO, I guess they're going to dress down. I think I got to cast this, though. Sure. So they get the tower, they play the tower. Right now an Emrakul costs 9 and they have 8 mana, but they're gonna be able to cast Emrakul next turn. We know we're not drawing a Charmaw. Alright, let's go to game. Let's go to game 3. Get to be able to play for game 3. Any consideration for Meltdown instead of FOMO? Well, if we cast Meltdown, X equals 1, they're going to sacrifice that Expedition map in response, and then we'll have discarded a card to do nothing. I certainly feel like I would rather put a creature that's X or 4 in play instead, and hope that they stumble a bit. I thought they only had 1 mana up. They had 3 mana up. They had 1 mana up after casting the Dress Down, and they only cast the Dress Down because they cast the FOMO. Do I Thoughtseize turn 1? I think I Thoughtseize turn 1 because they have so many hands that are really reliant on Expedition map. It's kind of close. Yeah, I think I just hate that if they draw a mine or a power plant, this tower is just so scary. Let's just reduce that fear, I guess. Okay, this is good to go with our Street Wraiths. I want to cycle now so that I can try to draw untapped land. All right, I think the Cecil will be better than the Channeler, so let's play Channeler. So they dismember down to 16, which they did not do yet. Okay, now they did draw the Tron piece, and so it looks like our decision paid off. So now we're getting in for 4 this turn, putting them down to 12, and then we'll have a 6-power creature. They could put them down to 6, but then they're going to get to Otawara not this next turn, but the turn after. So their hand is Otawara, Eldrazi Temple, 2 mystery cards. Hopefully they didn't top. I guess they didn't top deck a K command because that we would have heard about it by now, or because they would have played the temple, right? Cecil looks so sick with a Phoenix on him. Okay, well, good news. They did this before combat so it can attack with Phoenix. Good news. They didn't play a temple, so they got to K command for 1 less. Bad news, they drew the best possible still. So, then they say XD in the chat. Wait, is this the person? Kind of random, but have you been in my chat asking for an Uro unban all day? I think this is the same username. Okay, now they have Tron. And they're top decking a stock up. I'm attacking for 8. They have an Otawara. So now I'm attacking for 5. Not a great draw. Ah! Ah! All right. So we 5-0'd our first league. Classic Rakdos. Let's run it back. Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering if it was them. Obviously, I don't really. It's just funny if it's them. All right, we're so back, baby. Yeah, I know Cecil kind of has flown under the radar, but Cecil genuinely, it's kind of like the Kishla skimmer of this set, where nobody seems hyped about